I'm having a hard time because it means that, you know, he shows the medicine to you, and then he sits down and says, "I'm having a hard time, my throat." So we're making the connection in our heads. Yeah. Oh, he's getting the medicine, so he's got the medicine. We don't have to. Oh yeah. So anyway, yeah. So you don't. So you don't have to put. Okay, unless you after he buys the ticket, you delete all these moments here, even when we see the people with the bikes. Yeah. And this is your last shot of the first day, and then you use the dissolve here when he looks at the river, and then you open with. Going to the. What is he saying here? This is very similar to Shanghai. See you later. Thank you. See you later. So it can be individuals and a group of community, as a group of people going out there and doing that. But when it comes to the interviews, okay, this is I think this is how your film needs to be. When you're cutting to the interviews, they are telling their personal stories. But then when you're cutting to the visuals, we see them being part of the group. medicine, and then when he sits there, I'm having a hard time, because it means that, you know, he shows the medicine to you, and then he sits down and says, I'm having a hard time, my throat. So we're making the connection in our heads.
Yeah.
Oh, he's getting the medicine, so he's got the medicine. We don't have to. You need to think when you're going to be editing and taking things out. Don't be so literal. You know, don't try to explain and show everything.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes things are like explained by themselves without even seeing. So the previous shot says, this is the medicine, and then he sits down and says, oh, I'm having a hard time. So obviously at some point he got the medicine. He wasn't lying to you. Why would he lie?
这俩可是
I'm not sure about this one because it's very long and I don't know how to cut it because he said something at the end of this footage.
But what he's saying is important to you. You want to keep it.
Yeah, I want to keep it.
Because if you decide to start your film like I told you, having the first shot of him being on the boat, still it's not clear that it's about somebody doing a crossing. It involves a boat and water, but it's not clear. And then it starts with a Heathrow shot coming in. You think that maybe he's an athlete because he's wearing trunk suits with the China logo on it, but you don't know. You're not sure because he's quite old. And then here's like kind of like reveal that he's going to be doing the crossing. So it's good. It's good.
Take a picture with the
That's right. That's good. Yeah, he also saw the Chinese flag.
It's my honor to host you swimming champions from Volleyball.
I really don't know how to organize it. It's all like swimming and sing. So I can show you the most important part.
You mean the race?
Yeah, the race. But here is all here.
Okay.
I think you can have a look.
Yeah. It's first play. To be fair, I wouldn't. I would just cut straight to him sleeping. I wouldn't do that. Panning.
Okay.
Panning or tilting? Tilting. Tilting is the. Yeah, panning is like a tilting. Yeah. So I would do the. Yeah, I wouldn't do the tilting. I would just do the cut straight to him like that. It's long anyway.
Welcome to my reflective log, where I hope to critique and explain further the discussions I made in all three of my documentary pieces. The topic for my sense of place task was King Edward's Bay, a beach near Newcastle. I chose the beach as my location because there is a lot of subject matter. Also, the beach combines nature and human influence into one. I tried to capture both sides of this in my film. I start the film with a shot above the bay, looking towards the castle on the hill. I then lead into shots away from the beach and into shots of people on the shore. I did this so the clips do not seem randomly put together. It is important that the viewer is taken on a journey. The close-up and zoomed-in shot of the seagull flying down is meant to lead us down to the bay. At the time of recording, I thought this was an effective idea. However, it doesn't work as well as I would have hoped for. The transition between the shots is not fluid enough. When filming the beach scenes, I wanted the viewer to witness the roughness of the sea, but also the calmness of it. However, the sound with the rougher scenes doesn't mix with the other clips as well as I wanted to. I do like some of the shots of the sea engulfing the green rocks. However, it was quite difficult to get the shots as I was using a tripod at the time and the tide was coming in. I tried to have a good mixture of extreme close-up shots, medium shots, and long shots to make it more interesting for the viewer. Overall, I think the sound is clear, however it doesn't change enough, and the constant sound of the sea gets quite boring as the film goes on. This shot of the seagulls is shaky due to the zoom on the camera. I should take into account Brian Schuler, who notes that the more you zoom, the shakier the footage is. Overall, I have learnt a lot from this sense of place piece. For me, it was a bit of a learning curve. I don't think I filmed enough footage in the first place, which resulted in some weak and wobbly clips. I tried to lead the observer from the shore to the beach, then to the sea, and then ending back up on the shore. I felt like I achieved this to some extent, but as I said before, not to the best quality. If I could go back in time, I would have filmed more shots of people. In the future, I still definitely want to explore the idea of nature versus human civilization. By the beach, there definitely is potential for this topic in the future. For my day in the life piece, I follow the day in the life of a film teaching assistant. During the day, the assistant moves in between the editing suite, the green room, and outside for lunch. The editing suite proved tricky in editing due to the low light in the room, which created a problem for the white balance. He starts the day coming into the green room. Then we are led into the edit suite where he is giving a tutorial. Most clips in the editorial suite are in focus. It took a long time to sift through all these clips, as seeing on the camera in the dark lighting what was in focus and what was not definitely proved tricky, and created another task when editing the film.
We make the connection in our heads.
Yeah.
Oh, he's getting the medicine, so he's got the medicine. We don't have to. Oh yeah. So anyway, yeah. So you don't. So you don't have to put. Okay, unless.
In the editorial suite, I cut to close-ups of the faces and to the mouse and the keyboard. As Bill Davis says, the edit directs the viewer's attention to detail, which keeps the video fresh.
After he buys the ticket, you delete all these moments here, even when we see the people with the bikes.
Yeah.
And this is your last shot of the first day, and then you use the dissolve here when he looks at the river, and then you open with.
This forced me to alter the colour of the editing suite shots. I increased the brightness of the shots and also increased the white pixels to create a clearer viewing experience for the observer.
What is he saying here?
This is very similar to July.
When he goes to lunch, all of the shots are done handheld instead of with the tripod. This allows the viewer to feel as if they are there with the subject. Also, it allowed me to get into certain positions that otherwise I wouldn't have been able to get into. This shot is slightly overexposed when the camera pans to the exit of the shop. Also, I would have liked to get some more close-up shots of the food and the payment transactions. The day is finished at night, where the teaching assistant is leaving the building. This echoes the start of the film and completes the full circle of the day. Overall, I am quite pleased with the piece, taking into account how little time I had to edit it all. More close-up shots in certain places could have been effective. However, for this topic, I wanted them to seem as if I was a fly on the wall while the teaching assistant went about his daily business.
And then when he sits there, I'm having a hard time because it means that...
For my dialogue scene, I filmed a conversation between a teaching assistant and a student. There was something wrong with the microphone, so I had to do a lot of sound editing in post-production, which was very time-consuming. And due to the minimum time left I had, there was no time to reshoot, unfortunately. I wanted to film a dialogue sequence in a barbershop, but they had said no, unfortunately. But as Laura Martoni says, always have alternative locations for filming. I wanted to have a mixture of close-up and medium shots. The colour of the clips have come out okay, but due to the darkness of the room, getting the right white balance proved to be very tricky.
If you decide to start your film like I told you, having the first shot of him being on the boat, still it's not clear, but it's about somebody doing a crossing. It involves a boat and water, but it's not clear. And then it starts with a Heathrow shot coming in. You think that maybe he's an athlete because he's wearing trunk suits with the China logo on it, but you're not sure because he's quite old. And then here's kind of reveal that he's going to be doing the crossing. So it's...
Next time, I wouldn't have such a one-sided conversation, and would also make sure my equipment works before I start shooting. Overall, considering the time pressure, I'm not too disappointed with what I've created. However, there is obvious room for improvement and definitely a learning curve. Next time will definitely be better. I found it difficult during this RESIT period to find a dialogue situation within the time frame. I need to get more confident when approaching people to be filmed.